Hi everyone, my name's Vicki Townsley and I'm the Director of Ethical Quest. I wanted to make this video because I'd like to start recording a series of touch points with you for any of you who are leaders at the moment or anyone interested in learning and development. And I want to speak to you about what I'm noticing playing out in conversations with people that we work with. We're a global learning organization and we design custom solutions for different companies and different industries around the world. So we see a lot of conversations playing out. And I want to ask you a question. How many of you have felt at some stage in the last month a level of anxiety or some kind of fear-based response? Now, I'm sure every one of you listening to this video is nodding or thinking, yep, I've had that happen because it's everywhere. It's an epidemic right now. And I ask this question because one of the things, of course, when we're anxious or triggered by some kind of stress, is it impacts on our ability to make decisions, to solve problems, to do any kind of access to our higher intelligences. So for me, I think it's critical that we start to learn how to deal with fear and anxiety. And this requires a different kind of learning. It requires a learning that is deeply focused on emotional intelligence. It requires what we call an inside out approach, an approach where we're willing to look at ourselves and think about where we may be getting in our own way, where as a team we may be sabotaging the effectiveness of the collective, or where as an organization we may have an immunity to change in some way. We need a different approach to how we connect and how we communicate. And I've heard the saying in so many training programs, what got us here won't get us there. And it's true. Future leaders will need to lead in a very different way. We don't need to have leaders who manage performance or aim for perfectionism. Instead, what we need are leaders that are emotionally intelligent and able to hold the space for others to deal with their anxiety and fear so that they can grow. And of course, we all know that that kind of psychological safety and support is going to bring out the best in performance. So my brand, Ethical Quest, is inspired by my own personal journey because I live this in my own life. I'm not just someone who teaches it, I live it every day. Ethical for me is about being authentic and living my values and trying to show up as the version of myself that I really want to be. So that's something I strive for. And the word quest is intentional because it's about progress, not perfection. Like we all have bad days, we all have good days. But if we're trying to show up in the best way that reflects ourselves, that to me is ethical quest. And that's what we're about. And it is deeply about inside out development. The learning goes deeper, it requires more from anyone participating because I think to get the best from the learning we do as an organisation, people participating in the programs really need to have a commitment to themselves, like do a vision for their own success, but also they need to have some kind of courageous humility to be able to look at themselves and at their teams and at their systems and their organizations throughout the learning experience. Because if we can get rid of what prevents us from being our best selves, then that's what's going to make the biggest difference. A happy sheet or a tick box exercise can be useful, but it's not necessarily going to give that lasting result you want. People are always saying to me, Vicki, how can we make it stick? If you want it to stick, it has to be inside out. It has to come from mindset, beliefs, and dealing with what happens to us when we're triggered by fear and anxiety, because that's the hardest development, really. So if you are you willing to do it? That's the point of the video. We would love to work with you, and we're very good at holding the space for this kind of learning. So if you are up for it, if you're really willing to do the work and you have the courage to change and look at things in a different way, then we can help you. We can really make a difference working with you to get the results that you individually and collectively want. Get in touch. My LinkedIn profile is here for you. If you'd like to connect, please look me up, Vicki Townsley, Ethical Quest, Vicki with an I. and or just connect directly on our website, which is www.ethicalquest.co.uk, because I think a lot of people I talk to really want to make a difference in the world, and the world is ready for a different kind of leadership. Thank you so much for listening.